Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to day number 2 of the WPC LAN Finals, presented by Beyond the Summit. I'm LD. Happen to be joined by a suddenly taller Yanis.
I'm not taller. You just shrank a little bit, I think.
Yeah. I told him that we'd be the same height for this cast.
Sweet.
So, well, welcome back. It's time for Cloud9 to make their debut today. They're in Group A, and they're in the top half of the teams for now. First place team will play the bottom team from Group B, which would was it DT or was it Titan? Okay, well, we'll try to find out, but it's one of those two teams who looked a bit weaker yesterday. Yeah. So Cloud9 starting off their group stage play now. They'll be going up against the 0-2 Vici Gaming, who have looked very predictable and not drafting particularly strong either. With that being said, the draft is underway. We're going to hop into it, and it is Dreamtime, who is waiting at the bottom of the group. So if Vici lose this game, then, well, they're going to be up against one of the stronger opponents. At that point, they're looking at either Alliance, or I think it is IG, because IG finished first. They had the tiebreaker over Alliance, beating them head-to-head. So, yeah, that's... IG look a bit revitalized, and not a team you want to be facing early on.
Yeah, I'm still really excited to see what Cloud9 is going to do. They've been doing some pretty interesting drafts.
Starting off fairly standard, I'd say. Sand King, Shadow Demon. Vici have changed it up, though. We saw the Chinese teams were banning Doom and... what's the other RTK here? Prophet. Those are the two heroes that most teams are banning against Vici in the Chinese scene. But Cloud9, they give away one of our RTK's stronger heroes. They also do not take Invoker. Something that most teams generally still ban or pick themselves in the first pick. And, well, we'll have to see what they have planned. But so far, they haven't really tipped their hands. And
opting for their first 2 supports right off the bat kind of reveals a little bit. I mean, they can really just do dual lanes and everything if they want to. But I don't really like always just revealing the first 2 supports right off the bat.
That's what Vici did their first game. They went Earthshaker, Ancient Apparition one game, and Sand King, Ancient Apparition the other, and they just got crushed.
Yeah, you can get really punished for it, because then people just, basically, right away what supports they have, and you just... I mean, the cores are hidden at least, but...
Like, you know they don't have a jungler, you know they have passive supports, or in the second game you knew they had a Sand King, he needs to get level 6 and farm a Blink. Same for Ancient Apparition, as far as getting level 6, and...
These are pretty standard C9
They just got
heroes.
aggressive early.
They're pretty standard C9 heroes, though. They like their Shadow Demon. They really like their Sand King.
They are also... It's a little more of a balanced support duo. Last game we saw Ancient Apparition Sand King, very greedy, very passive. Shadow Demon, Sand King, one slightly greedier support, but Shadow Demon who can be at presence early. So it's not just counting on your opponents to play super passive.
Right now, though, Vici's Hexagon is looking pretty intense.
That's the best Hexagon they've had all day.
Yeah, with just 2 picks.
Yeah,
they're in.
This is an easy.
But yeah,
as K-pop Tosis likes to say, it's not the size of the hexagon; it's how you use it that counts.
Oh man, you would say that.
Says the man who doesn't have the big hexagon. I feel.
Yep. Oh, wow. Damn. But yeah, I wouldn't be too surprised if we do see Cloud9 go for a Darkseer. I mean, Doom and Invoker can be quite good versus Darkseer, of course, but they do like the vacuum combination, and it's one of their more picked heroes for Bone 7.
Vici actually banned out the OD, which was something that you look at Cloud9. The last time they were facing a multitude of, well, actually the last time they faced a major Chinese opponent, they did play in G League. They did not do well there, but their biggest success was with Arteezy standing in for Bone 7 at MLG, and they beat DK on the back of just very smart, greedy play. That was when they were running a lot of OD, a lot of Clinks.
A lot of Midas.
A lot of Midas, exactly.
It was a bad time for Dota.
It was the worst of times.
Yeah.
Well, the worst of times was right when the Midas craze started. Yeah. Then we saw the 5 Midas strat.
Oh, God. And books.
Fogged has a big enough hexagon. He showed it to me. It's a beautiful hexagon.
Nice.
You've got a fan here in the chat, Yanis.
Sweet, man. At least there's one.
At least one. But Viper gets removed by Cloud9. It's
Vici's burning a lot of their time. Down to 15 seconds bonus time already. They're really thinking hard about this one.
No, they need a support here. They need 2, and they'll go for... I guess that's... Huh.
Oh.
Is that a solo mid-doom?
Insta-pick Silencer by C9. Uh-oh.
Is that a solo mid-doom, then, and an offlane Nyx?
It could probably be a support Nyx. Like, it's pretty greedy, but maybe they're expecting C9 to go for the Darkseer, and Nyx Doom, pretty good versus Darkseer overall.
Okay. Yeah, you've got like a guaranteed Carapace with the Ion Shell, so... How do you think they're going to carry Silencer? I guess it is.
But C9 is a team that they like to punish greed. So if they see a team doing something like this, they can even just run aggressive. We've seen them do it so many times with like dual lanes, like Wisp, Luna, and
Spirit Breaker. They're just going. They've completely gone off the deep end as far as the standard picks.
Dude, their hexagon is not looking very good right now.
It's shrinking by the pick. This will be a true test for the hexagons, Brian.
Oh my
no,
goodness.
I'm just kidding. Yeah, you have to wait until it ends as well. That's true.
10 seconds remaining.
Calibrate. These are Spirit Breaker we've talked about as being one of the worst heroes in the game. We were casually having a couch discussion, and I think unanimously, Fear, yourself, Ben, Cinderin, everyone else who was here, we all put Spirit Breaker solidly in the bottom 5 heroes in the entire game.
We put a lot of heroes. We put some pretty strong heroes.
We put some heroes into the dumpster in that discussion.
Even I think Chaos Knight went into the dumpster too.
I was holding on to his rear legs trying to pull him out of the dumpster, but you guys just piled on and dumped him in. Let's see if Cloud9 can prove us wrong, because end of the day, we have our opinions about heroes, but it's not until a team shows you the power that you can see it. So we'll give Cloud9 the benefit of the doubt with this one. It's a farming silencer and Spirit Breaker at this point.
They could, I mean, yeah, that could be a Bone 7 Spirit Breaker, huh?
Offlane Spirit Breaker. This Radiant can pretty much offlane anything.
I guess, right? Huh? This will be interesting, to say the least.
Just quad lane mid, with constant smoke ganks on the Invoker. Charge him.
And they're doing
the bash forward strat.
They're going back to the old strat. They used to run this, the Troll
bash
Spirit Breaker.
strat.
But then with Silencer too, he's gonna be dishing out some serious deeps with that Troll ulti.
Okay.
Interesting. Lacking some lockdown. Guess they have to depend on some ginormous sanking stuns after some charge through hitting 5 heroes.
Yeah. I don't know. This reminds me of when DK were at Starladder and they drafted they had Morphling Wisp, Lycan, Keeper of the Light, Puck. I'm like, I don't know how they're gonna lane this. And they went through the dual lane, off lane, Lycan, Keeper of the Light, and crushed that game. So hey. Let's just see what they do.
I think their laning phase could end up working out pretty well. If they can do some Shadow Demon Sanking running around. Troll does pretty damn good versus Invoker, as long as you know the matchup. Hero's still very strong. So yeah, it looks like Bone 7 is going to be picking up that Spirit Breaker.
There's some interesting synergies with the attack speed. Yeah, as you mentioned, Silencer can attack really fast, and 2 bashing heroes, in theory, could be very strong.
In theory.
In theory. There's a lot of ways to punish Spirit Breaker when he jumps in, though. There's Carapace, there's Cold Snap in particular. And as well as a lot of other disables. So, well, let's introduce the teams here. We'll start with Cloud9, your other Western challenger. They beat out Alliance for the first place position in the WPC Western qualifiers. They start on the Radiant side here. That's their first of 3 group stage games. The winner of the group will be playing DT. The loser plays IG. And it's just a straight single elimination bracket after this group stage. So we begin with Cloud9. Pylai Dai will be playing that support. Sand King, we've got Eternal Envy on the carry silencer. Sing Sing playing the troll, something we have not seen in quite some time since the nerf to the Whirling Axe's damage. AUI 2000 on the Shadow Demon, and going to the offlane is Bone 7. Cloud9 busting out a new strat. Vici, it's a lot more standard for them. Fenrir on the Visage, one of his best heroes, I would say. Sylar playing your Invoker, actually headed to the safe lane. They put FY on the Wind Ranger. Will be that support Wind Ranger, which we've had very mixed results with so far. Super on the solo mid Nick, so not going to be support, and that does put ROTK on one of his more go-to heroes, is the offlane Doom.
That Troll's going to do really well mid. Nyx is going to have quite a tough time there just because Troll has so much damage if he decides to go for melee form. He's going to have the freely last hit and not really get too much harassment because he goes for a Poor Man Shield first item. And I don't know how the hell they're going to zone out a Spirit Breaker on that top lane with an Invoker and a Nyx, or an Invoker and a Visage. He's got 5 armor and 800 health. He's going to stand there and get levels.
He has I think the highest effective HP is Ogre second, I believe.
Yeah, Ogre is second and Spirit Breaker is first because that 5 armor and it's ridiculous. So yeah, I don't know how they're gonna zone him.
And he's Radiant as well. So
at least he's melee and they have Windrunner and Visage, but He has 927 effective HP with no items.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Pretty beast.
Well, let's see how it works out. We'll have a quick disconnect. Oh, just from an observer. Never mind. But yeah, mid lane off the bat, it will be the Nyx versus Troll. This is where Troll generally excels, is against other melee heroes, where you can get the blind off, and especially Nyx, who's not a very strong 1v1 laner in general.
Yeah, for sure. I mean,
I thought they'd send the Invoker mid, but I think they're just worried about him getting roamed on too much.
Yeah, and look at Bone 7, taking barely any damage without even a stout shield on him.
I'd say literally no damage.
Literally? Alright. Literally no damage.
Literally none. This is like the real Necrolite. No +1 armor. Oh, hey, he's tanky now. He's actually tanky. And already off to a good start on the safe lane will be Eternal Envy on that farming silencer. So, offlane Doom, nice thing is, he does have the plan B, which is juggle. We saw RTK did not have a plan B on Clockwork past few games, and I feel that really hurt Vici. But he'll just abandon the lane right away.
Yep, and Bone 7 thankfully does have a bit of a side ward, so he can get vision of whenever the supports are over there trying to connect the poles and everything.
It is early Sunstrike build. No points in Quash just yet for the Invoker. So looking for some pick-off potential. What do they really have to go with this? Not much now. When Nyx gets level 6, they'll have some, but you can see Sing Sing just... he's chopping wood here mid lane, and Super is not having a good time.
8-4 CS on Sing Sing, 2-0 on Super. And this is, I mean, this is what you expect to really happen. And Sing Sing's going for, he's leveling his Berserker Rage early on. He's not even just going for that 1 point in it. So he's going to be getting some decent movement speed from it, as well as the Bast duration. So
looking at the draft for Cloud9 more, I guess the thinking with the Spirit Breaker Silencer is that you global, and then that's a guaranteed charge ult, pretty much. You can't stop him from jumping in. That seems like a cool combo. It is a very long cooldown ultimate, but you start the fight with that, and then you just can look to run them down with multiple Sand King stuns and the Troll, who's got fairly spammable slows.
Yeah, now that change that they did, that some people are overlooking, there's no animation anymore for when you're using it, so you're pretty guaranteed to land those axes every time you use them.
That's true. And Sing Sing, I would say, back when he was playing, he was one of the players that played the most troll mid. He's really good at toggling melee and range for him. Like, he'll toggle range for him just to get the extra auto attack to harass you. He'll toggle melee if you're attacking him to minimize the incoming damage. And of course, we'll go back to ranged if he's ever bottling. So he's very proficient at microing the hero, which I think makes a big difference on troll.
Yeah, for sure. And he's just doing a great job of keeping the pressure on Super. He's taking a little bit of harass, but you're not really gonna expect like, oh my God, Nyx just used a stun on me. I didn't expect it. You'll be just fine.
And meanwhile, with the Doom abandoning the offlane, free farm for Pylai. So very early blink likely to come out for him.
Radiant OP.
Yeah. Well, empty offlane also helps.
Yep.
And Doom not the best at staying in the lane against these heroes. I mean, there's nothing RTK can do. If he goes bottom, he's just gonna feed or sit at the tower. So he might as well.
Yeah, and I'm wondering if we're going to see a rotation coming out from the two supports on the side of C9 for mid. And it looks like they do have a smoke up on the Sand King, so maybe.
Well, for now, they're playing pretty passively. I guess for Vici, the thing is, Nyx is not expected to win this lane. You want to get level 6, and then you start looking for ganks with Sunstrike. But we'll see if he makes his move. And the one issue we've seen with a lot of solo mid Nyxes is it's just so obvious when he's ganking. Hey, there's no Nyx in the lane. He's off ganky. Whereas if he's a support, you don't have a ward where the support was, you can actually get away with those. Sure, you can send your support in mid, but that's still a dead giveaway that the Nyx is off on the prowl.
Yep.
Looks like top rune, there might be an engagement here as the Spirit Breaker. Oh, just kidding.
It's a
Spirit Breaker.
He's chilling.
Yeah.
He's getting a bit under level though. He's only level 2, almost 3.
Actually, RTK's pulling ahead.
Almost. It's
but the thing is that the trade is really with the supports, where these supports are spending their time zoning, and Sand King and Shadow Demon are farming stacks.
Do-do-do. And what's he bringing out on the courier? I think they just.
I think your Sandstorm's better than mine. Your do-do-do.
Do-do-do. Dude, it's all about the do-do-do.
Notel he liked my Sandstorm.
Oh, and look at the Silencer build too. He's opting for the max curse.
You almost never see that nowadays.
Oh, it's pretty damn strong. Maybe they're just gonna get that Ag Scepter. That double application of the curse. Some people. It's pretty strong. People overlook how much.
I don't think I've actually seen an Ag Silencer since the change.
Alliance did it when they had like AA and Silencer, and he got Refresher's Ags. It's pretty ridiculous.
Yeesh. Yeah, that's what I feel like the Queen of Pain ult needs is just the Han change, the guaranteed Shadow Strike on everyone.
Oh God, the Han change. We don't speak of that game here.
That's a good change.
It is a good change, but it would make it completely imbalanced.
Well, then you nerf it a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Tweak it out. Jesus, man. What? It's not science.
Oh, and charge coming out on ROTK.
Uh-oh. Spirit Breaker's on the move, and, well, there is 4 armor on RTK. Fortunately, it's his Tranquil Boot, so he's not quite as squishy, but they're going to disrupt him. And they'll end the aggression there. I think if he doesn't have the Tranquils, they might be able to get that kill.
And they actually did pop the Troll ulti as he was getting put under, so a bit unfortunate timing there for Troll to hit his 6.
Yeah. Still, Spirit Breaker's now moving around the map, and the supports see this, so they've got a little bit of freedom. And it seems like they want to apply pressure mid. Bone 7's going to wait around. Pylai still farming the woods. Looking like around a 10-ish minute Blink Dagger. He's already level 5, though. You compare this to the Sand King we saw last game from Vici, and it's just been a much better start for him.
Not much of a comparison. Oh, and the smoke actually gets broken, but they do get everything.
Impels there. The shackle shot will connect, and then the Sunstrike comes through, but a global will allow Cloud9 to safely disengage. In fact, they're going for the turnaround. One more bash could secure kill. Now Grave Chill. Oh, disruption. There could be one more Shadow Poison, perhaps. I don't know if it's enough. He carapaces right now, and I don't think these 2 stacks will bring him down. If the third was there, I think he's maxing poison first.
Yeah, most of the time you see people maxing out the poison. Maybe grabbing a couple points extra inside that Soul Catcher, if they do have like Sunstrike on top of it. But Fenrir held his Soul Assumption there for a little bit. I think they might have actually been able to get the kill. And yeah, he picks up a point boost on Silencer. He's going to be going for that Ags.
Well, Silencer is squishy, so I think even if you're not going Ags, you do need some like HP or mobility items, and well, we'll see.
It's pretty strong. Pop that ulti. Everybody's on the map's mana is basically getting drained. It's like AoE EMP. Or a global EMP.
How much mana does it actually remove when it's maxed?
I don't play that hero. I don't like that hero. It's a good amount. I mean, it's
no, the Curse of the Silent. Oh, Travis. Yeah. So it's like a 200 mana hero, about 192.
That's pretty good.
A lot of these heroes are very mana dependent and fairly low mana pools in some cases. Like I'd say the Visage and the Doom and the Nyx are probably the 3 that would be most affected by that.
Ag's Refresher is gonna be, if he goes for that, it'll be pretty devastating.
So elsewhere, Silencer, the Invoker is free farming, and good news for Vici, and they do have Devour Gold to help catch up. That is a pretty damn fast Midas. And Super's looking for a kill top lane. He will go in. He connects on the Impale. The Sunstrike's going to come through, and it hits Bone 7. The Cold Snap's there. First Blood actually does go the way of Vici, and that is the power of the Nyx mid. You can still lose your lane and make plays elsewhere. And actually, they weren't even showing anyone mid. They sent 3 bottom. They're looking to kill off the Silencer. Eternal Envy. Oh, he's lucky. The Shackle barely failing to latch. They're still going to dive this, though, at least looking for a TP, and they'll get one from the Troll.
He's tanky.
And he'll turn this around. The point booster doing too much work. RTK dropping pretty quickly to the Curse of the Sun. He will go down out of mana. FY drops quite low as well, and Sing Sing, he's going to walk into melee form. He'll get that extra move speed and keep on chasing. He'll have the ranged axes soon for that slow, but with the charge coming. Oh, is it enough? He gets the bash. He gets the kill.
That max Berserker Rage giving them
what a lucker. Good play by Sing Sing, though.
Yeah. Interesting build. I think we've been seeing Fada has been playing that Troll Warlord as well, and he does not go for that build whatsoever. He actually leaves it at level 1 until like level 13 or 14 when he starts leveling the Berserker Rage.
Yeah, it's very unusual not to see the axes max, or at least it used to be. I haven't seen that much Troll since then.
I mean, I kind of like that build because maxing the axes, the whole point of it before was you can clear the creep wave very easily, but
and you can spam your opponents out of lane.
Yeah, it just doesn't work anymore like that. It just doesn't do enough damage because of the nerfs.
No one's ever maxed his bash before. His melee form.
Interesting. And Paladai does opt to go for Arcane Boots rather than rushing out that Blink Dagger first item.
That's of course, in competitive. For anyone who's not clear. Obviously, it's happened in pubs before. But in comes the Courier mid lane, and I think the key for Vici here is just finding those pickoffs with the Nyx Assassin. Get you the Familiars online, and at that point, you've got Sunstrike, Familiars, Nyx ult, and you can pressure Cloud9 quite a bit. Even the Spirit Breaker can die to that combo. They do have a lot of burst.
They should be able to kind of see it coming, though. I mean, the mid lane's just completely open, so it's just like, you know, Nyx is off doing something. Be careful, guys. Spirit Breaker getting close to his level 6, level 5 up on him. Just still brown boots. Hasn't bought anything else. Sing Sing looks like he's... Oh, they're trying to go for a smoke. They want to put some pressure on the Invoker. They know he's getting a bit too much farm, but he's actually just... He's off jungling.
He's jungling, and he's almost got the double forge. He's 1 level away and very close to getting that level. Meanwhile, they will descend on the top lane. Does Paladai have his Blink Dagger yet?
No, he went for those Arcanes.
Okay, he went Arcanes. So this is going to be slightly difficult to get in range. They don't have the Spirit Breaker yet. He's actually bottom lane. They might be setting up for the Wind Ranger as well. So rotate into a 2-1-2 formation, but on that note, Doom walks towards mid. There is a Radiant Observer there. And, well, RTK still not level 6, so Cloud9 not really trying to force the issue too much.
Yeah, but, I mean, this Doom is just ending up getting a lot more than Bone 7 is. He's almost doubling his net worth at this point. He's going to be getting a mech, which is going to be really damn useful in teamfights.
And generally, I'd say you'd rather have the Doom later on than the Spirit Breaker.
Yeah, oh, at least Spirit Breaker picks up your urn, so now Shadow Demon doesn't have to go for that. He can try to rush out an early Force Staff.
Maybe a Blink Dagger. We've seen... I know Paladai likes that on Shadow Demon, but Force is definitely your safer item.
Or Dagon.
Just straight Dagon.
Dude, lots of deeps.
He's maxing Shadow Poison. That's going to hurt.
Yeah, Shadow Poison does so much damage. People really overlook it.
Yeah, it's 1,000 damage plus Dagon. Easy kills.
Easy to get 5 stacks, right?
Yeah, no problem. It's funny how often players, it's, you know, you forget about the poison. You're trying to kill the more high priority targets. Meanwhile, top lane, they do shackle. Pylai die, but he burrows out just in the nick of time. It's only a level 1 shackle. And this does go back to the offlane Spirit Breaker. He's very underleveled on the Wind Ranger because they had to invest so much in zoning out the SB.
Yep, looks like they're gonna just go for this tower, and they should be able to bully it. I don't think C9 be able to react.
Both teams deploying their glyph. I think that's a Mana Burn that Doom just threw out on Pylai die. And Bone 7 waiting in the trees. They will get the tier 1 top lane. He just used charge, but I guess he canceled
it right away.
I don't think he wants to be going in there. Now maybe he could, but when the 4 are there, you're not charging that.
Yeah, you gotta be careful. Cold Snap is a pretty damn good skill versus Spirit Breaker.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It's just like, well, top lane, we're gonna have a Nyx gank. He's back. He's wrapping around from the side. He can go in on Pylai Dare here. He'll start it off just with an Impale. Did not get the Vendetta damage, and there'll still be enough to get the kill. Bone 7 now pops his ult. They will global for this, but there's no follow-up for the Spirit Breaker.
Troll, he's still down, or what?
Oh, he's charging in. He's looking for the dive, but he thinks better of it, and will back off. I mean, you could see the idea, which is like global, guaranteed charge, but they need the follow-up burst from like the Sand King, I would say, to get these kills.
Envy's so close to his Ag Scepter here, but he's getting chased down by ROTK, but there's no way he's gonna
Mott is pleading with him not to die. And
ROTK's just trying to...
will hear Mott's prayers.
Yeah, he's really just trying to bait ports there when he's doing that. So it's a good effort there by ROTK, but I think Envy knew he wasn't gonna be going for the kill. And yeah, it's a 12-minute Ag Scepter up on the silencer.
Let's see how much work this does. I mean, I mentioned the Mana Burn. I guess the other aspect is the damage as well.
Yeah, of course.
Which is
it does a good amount of damage, and you can stack them. So if you're in the team fight, you throw both of them, and it's pretty devastating.
You combine it with the Shadow Poison. That's gonna hurt.
Yeah, you don't even notice. You're just like, we're all dead. We just all died.
This feels like from a theorycraft point of view, sounds incredibly strong, but we still have to see it actually work in practice.
Yeah, for sure. And Pi, he should be getting his Blink Dagger still pretty soon. Unfortunate that he got ganked top because he was, I think, 800 or 900 gold away from it. But either way, he's got his Arcane Boots online, and it doesn't look like they're trying to rush any aggression just yet.
FY does get charged mid. They do not have a global, though, so just getting out to the lane a bit quicker.
Yep, taking a look. About 1,800 gold, leading the favor of VG right now.
Yeah, so about a 1.5k gold lead, maybe close to 2k. They do get their mech now, though, and that's, especially with the global silence in play, having that some form of team sustain is very important. They also have familiars, and now the medallion on the Rosh, and they're just going to look to snipe this Rosh.
They should just be able to do it straight up.
This is like a straight out of the Cloud9 playbook. They love their Rosh sneaks early on.
Yeah, medallion, Fort Spirits, Visage, pretty good.
AUI is already moving into Scout. He does have the level 4 Shadow Poison. He'll drop a ward, and he can get in here, and they actually still don't have Silencer ult. It's still cooling down. It's got to be pretty close. And it's 12 seconds off. Uh-oh. The timing could be just right for trouble. Charging onto Sylar. Where's that backup for him? Bones having it shackled to a tree. Still Sylar tanking those poison stacks, and now in comes the Troll. He is fighting against Fort Spirits here, and Global now deployed. And Vici still charging in. They don't care about this Global. Maybe they should, though. Epicenter coming from Pylai Die, braining everyone low. Fenrir will fall. RTK going to be next on the list. I believe a few more right clicks. Blow. One more. Just barely snipes some Envy. They get the Ultra. Well, the 4 hero kill, not the Ultra kill. On the back of an Epicenter Curse of the Silent Global.
The DOT damage is ridiculous with the Shadow Demon Poison
DOT
on top
Dota.
of Shadow Demon Poison, Sandstorm, of course the Epicenter that came on top, and the Curse of Silent with the ultimate. Everyone just slowly ticked down, but they all died. I mean, it wasn't even that slow actually because the Epi, but wow, very nice. They do defend the Rosh, but VG should just be able to go in there next because now Silent Ulti is going to be down.
And Epicenter will be down as well.
Yep.
So maybe Cloud9 can fight at the pit, but it's going to be a much more difficult.
How much int did he actually get there? I didn't see how close he was. He actually got 3 or 6, so 3 kills of it.
Okay.
Worth.
Yeah, he's just spamming Curse on the lane. VG not enjoying this too much. And they can go into the pit. They have Doom online. Familiars are still alive, so it's not going to be the easiest thing for Cloud9 to go in here.
Did I say dot damage? I think I did.
Yeah.
Sunshine would have, or Syndrome would have smacked me.
I think you said dot or damage or.
I controlled myself. Nice.
Yes.
Excellent.
Discipline from Giannis. They do have an Alpha Wall, so this Rosh will drop pretty fast. And I think Cloud9, they do get the 4 kills, but they're giving up an Aegis and a Rosh, so
and they're keeping
not the worst trade for VG.
And they're splitting up. It looked like, I mean, C9 knew they couldn't fight that Rosh afterwards, so Pylai just goes top, and he's like, I'm gonna put some pressure on this tower. And he's about 300 damage, 300 gold from that Blink Dagger.
This is the Cloud9 efficiency at its best. If they're left unchecked, they will take more out of the map than your team, and Pylai Die's almost level 11 at 16 minutes as a support Sand King.
Was that a blink on Troll? That is a Blink Dagger on Troll.
Well, they want to get up in that up in your grill while the global goes off, you know?
I mean, if they get both the Spirit Breaker and the Troll right on top of people, and he gets the axes with the miss rate, it's okay. But at the same time, the side of VG has quite a lot of burst damage, unless, of course, they're global.
Yeah, it's like everything about the strat depends on a good global. If they're forced to use it at a bad position, then they lose the fight flat out. Because Troll will just melt to BKB, or without having to BKB, I should say. They will go in now, though. Pylite jumps in, and Super will carapace this one, but he still gets caught by a burst strike. The follow-up damage is strong, and they get the kill. Now looking for Sylar here with the charge. Spirit Breaker coming from the sides. They global at the same time. Windrunner unable to disengage from this one, and now Sylar on the run. In comes Pylite again with the epicenter. Gets 2. And pops the Aegis. They're looking for more. It's already 4 dead, including the Aegis, and it might be 5. It might be 6. ROTK low. Sylar low. He gets bashed. And I believe he goes down here. Indeed he will. Cloud9 just running over Vici. Another one team fight. What was once a very even game is dramatically going their way now.
Please go Dagon AUI. Do it for me. He's got the Staff of Wizard. He's got Arcane Boots. He's set. But yeah, looking team fight recap. Another very good team fight for C9 using their globals every time they're up.
Well, the strat seems like it's working. I think Vici aren't respected enough, though. Like, they're playing super aggressive this game.
And looking at this Invoker's build, too, he actually opted to just skip an early level in Wex at all. He's maxing the Exor instead of having any in Wex, so...
That's pretty unusual. Normally you get the double Forge, you'll back off for at least a single point in Wex.
Yeah, I mean, it helps you a lot in team fights if you have that early point in Wex, so I don't really think that that's the best idea for him right now, since they keep just engaging on...
Deafening Blast is huge in team fights. Yeah. Even, like, throwing Alacrity on the Doom with crit aura can be pretty big, so... Yeah, I'm a little surprised. Still, Cloud9 only with a slight lead here, end of the day. They've had very impressive team fights, and the Silencer is getting big. I guess we should keep an eye on the Stolen Int this game. What's he sitting at now? Up to 8? That's not too shabby.
How many, I'm actually thinking, has Doom been used this game? I don't think it has been.
The first fight, he ran out of mana from the Curse of the Silent before he could get off Doom. It might be, I mean, I guess once he gets BKB, he can just wait for Global and then BKB out of it.
Uh-oh. Super might actually get re-engaged on here with that sentry down, but no.
Well,
they just set it back
safe.
up. Yeah, there's 3 people, or 4 people right behind him. It's definitely the right choice not to go for that kill.
Bone7 was charging in, but he thinks better of it. Without the Global, this is a risky play.
Will that be the Blade Mail for Bone7? I think it will be.
Shackle, fishing, won't connect, and they're still going to go in. The Cold Snap finds him. Bone7 explodes. Then Sing Sing blinks in, but does he have the backup here? Another great Burrow Strike from Pylite still. Only now having the Global online, they really need it to go in. You see, they're so strong with it, and they're just food without it.
I'm pretty sure he is just going to rush for that Ag's Refresher. He's picking up a Sage's Mask, so I'm assuming that's going to be building into that Oblivion staff, which then, of course, finishes up Refresher.
Oh, now the Epicenter being channeled by Pi, but Vici, they backed out just in the nick of time. Now the Shackle comes through. That'll connect along with the Carapace, and it's Cloud9's turn to overextend. They get 3. They're looking for Envy. He will TP out.
Wow, and Global was used as well, so 2 wasted ultimates there. Now it looks like VG's going to capitalize and take that tier 2 top.
Live by the Global, die by the Global. It's Spirit Breaker without BKB is just useless if there's no Global. He tries to do anything. He gets Cold Snap, Carapace stun, Shackled. He doesn't get to even use his ult.
Yeah. Now this is going to be pretty big for VG.
The one thing with this strat is there is a lot of pressure on him, and Bone7 trying to defend the tower doesn't have much backup for this. There's no Epicenter. He's still dead on the Sand King, and there's no Silencer. They lose one. They lose the tower as well, and Cloud9, I think they're just not choosing the right time to fight.
Yeah, those are...
They fought like right before Global cooled down there. Just wait a few seconds.
Bone7 just being a little bit too ambitious with that charge.
Yeah. That second death was, I don't know, miscommunication, I guess.
Questionable, maybe.
Yes, questionable maybe. Well, Giannis, what do you think you do from here if you're Cloud9? Do you just have to be more disciplined about only fighting with Globals? Is there any other strategic aspects of this game we haven't discussed yet?
Yeah, they probably just need to be careful. I'm confused, honestly, by the Blink Dagger pickup on Troll. I mean,
what do you think he should have gone for instead? Just BKB?
I guess he does. I'd probably just BKB at this point, because maybe Blink afterwards once the Refresher is online for Silencer, because then he doesn't have to worry about the spells just being thrown on him. But if he just blinks in and uses the Axis, sure, people are going to miss, but Global doesn't last forever. They're going to get the spells off right afterwards, and you can get blown up quite easily when you're that squishy. He didn't go for any points in stats whatsoever on Troll.
Yeah, he's even maxing the Fervor now, so... He's sitting at 1100 HP. You know, Troll back when we saw a lot of Troll, he'd often go like Phase, Drums, BKB, I think was the most common build. Maybe a Manta mixed in or Sanji Yasha. So like that type of Troll build, you'd be sitting at like 1400, 1500 HP, and with the high armor, it's effectively a lot more.
Yeah, I feel like it's just going to be... They still haven't used Doom on the side of VG, so I feel like this is going to be a really tough game for C9 no matter what. I mean, if it gets to the very late game, they're going to be able to do really well, but they're going to have trouble right now, because if the global is not up or if it's used improperly, VG can just do so much when it's down.
Yeah, and it's where if a player makes some mistakes, a lot of times it's better just let Spirit Breaker die and save your global for the next fight, because it has a very long cooldown.
Yeah, and also it's like the same time that Pi ended up whiffing the epicenter as well, so just definitely miscommunication and just a good time as well for VG to back out.
Well, for now, Cloud9 trying to take over the enemy jungle a bit here and look for a push top lane. The one other thing they do have is Troll ult, which is a fantastic split pushing tool. So even though none of their other heroes are particular, can still just play a little bit of Rat Dota to get through this mid game if they need to.
Yeah, it's a great objective attainer, because if you don't have good pushing heroes, you just pop that Troll ult and it makes up for everything.
Shackle will connect on Eternal Envy. Do they go in on this one? Sunstrike's going to come through. The familiar stun's there, but there's still no follow-up. They are terrified to go into it. No, just kidding. In comes Super. They'll snipe him with an Impale. And Eternal Envy, there was no disruption there. There was no disengage, and now AUI might be caught out next. The Forge Spirit's working on him. Super's going to run through. He looks to get in range here with the Haster, and they'll find two. And now the rest of Cloud9 will sound the retreat. I like the way they approached the Silencer there. They just chipped away at him, and then only when they knew they could kill him before he global did they blink in for a stun.
That's something we used to see from like classic Chinese Dota. They used to just throw spells, like just, you know, pick at people to force them to try to use some spells, and they were trying to bait out the global there, and Eternal Envy just ended up holding it a bit too long, and Shadow Demon wasn't even able to react and put him under either before he got nuked down.
Was he even in range to disrupt? I'm not I think he was at the very end there.
I think he was,
but I don't know if it would have mattered.
Yeah.
Like, you global, but then Silencer just instantly dies. Is that good enough to win the fight?
Yeah, if you put him... He was already at, what, like a third health. If you put him under, it basically just sets him up to get killed as well.
He's... Honestly, aside from the Sand King, he is their main damage. And if this goes late, Spirit Breaker Troll maybe with BKBs can become relevant again. But I like this from Vici. They'll get double BKB online, and this means until there's a refresher, you just bait out the global, and then you BKB out of it, and at that point, Cloud9 don't have much on you. Epicenter damage won't affect you, you don't get hit by the glaives, and they're actually feeling like they're quite weak right now. Vici Gaming have found a good timing, and they're going to go for a push. Up on the high ground with the Necro 3. I don't think they'll break the tower, but they can at least chip away at it. Forge Spirits, Necro Book is ending fairly soon, and Vici Gaming with that will probably settle for some chip damage and back off.
Yeah, that was a lot of damage. They got almost 900 damage on that, or 1100 damage on that tier 3 tower. So
insta smoke.
C9 feels very pressured. They want to go make something happen with the global and the epicenter up.
Pilot Die letting his team get in front. It'll be Sing Sing and Bone 7 towards the front of this, and they'll look for some openings now. They blink in on the Troll. They found out one in the trees. That's going to be Super, but he does get off the Carapace there to stun the axes on the Troll, and now RTK pops his BKB. He just right-clicks down the Spirit Breaker, kills him almost instantly. Then they doom Sing Sing, even throws BKB. He's slated to fall. That's 2 down. They buy back now on the Nyx, and these BKBs are just very strong right now.
Yeah, this isn't really looking good for C9 at all. I'm pretty concerned for them once BKB's up.
God. And this Nyx is just feasting on the Silencer.
And I don't know why they really... What did they third pick the Silencer right after the Nyx? Right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, Nyx is a pretty damn good hero versus Silencer throughout the whole game. The later on it goes, the more the Silencer steals, the more damage she's going to be hitting, and it's a 4-second burst, so... Bit of a questionable draft, but they definitely have practiced something like this before and wanted to see how it would work. And of course, we've been saying this is like the group stage kind of thing, so it's not really the biggest deal.
They're not meaningless matches, but they're matches that you can experiment in. And worst case scenario, you still go to a single elimination bracket. You maybe just have a harder opponent the first round.
And you know, it's best of ones. You might as well. Anyone can win a best of one.
But this is really good for Vici, who started off 0-2, and they take down at least the first lane of Rax. And at this point, Cloud9, I wouldn't say 100% out of it, but they're in trouble.
Yeah, I mean, their offlaner is sitting at 4,000 net worth, so Bone 7 is actually at the very bottom now.
Spirit Breaker still trying to climb his way out.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to work. I don't like that hero. Maybe I think it can work with Troll, if you... I guess maybe if you're a support, but as an offlaner, I feel like you have to try to do too much as a Spirit Breaker.
This whole draft, we saw it can work, but if you ever fuck up a global, it all falls apart.
Yeah.
Or if your team forces you to global at a bad time because they're out of position. Like, I guess you can let them die at that point and save it, but...
Giving up Invoker and Doom, though, is that really the best choice when you're going for this type of pocket
Especially
strat?
against Vici. Vici is a team that really we've seen they struggle a lot when you ban out RTK heroes. Like, The Chinese teams that were beating them ban out Doom and Prophet every time in the first stage, and they've just been picking this useless offlane Clockwork, which just doesn't do anything.
RL2K, do good, too good.
I think RTK is one of those offlaners that really excels when he has a hero that can afford to make mistakes, like Doom or Prophet, where they can still catch up and farm.
I love just the fact that this Visage and the Windrunner are both over net worth over the mid solo on the side of EG. Pretty ownage. Ag Scepter finished up on Visage. He's not even level 11 yet, so he's going to have triple birds, and he's a carry already. Looking pretty grim.
Yeah, I think he hits harder than anyone on Cloud9. At least for single target DPS. That's pretty scary.
Yeah, that's very
It's also
scary.
a 15k net worth Invoker.
Well,
And not necessarily the best skill build, but he's still got absolute free farm, and we've seen what most Invoker players do with that.
yeah, this is... now Roche respawns. VG's just going to take that, and that's probably going to be their window, just to take that last tier 2 bottom. And
They have the triple birds, the
Yeah.
book, just sick everything on the rack.
He's saving his resummon. He actually only has the double bird still out right now, so it's not the biggest deal.
Okay.
We have our obs cracking up for some reason over in the corner. I
Mott
don't know
failing to
what's going
maintain professionalism here in a professional casting studio. Typical.
on. Oh, Jesus.
He gave me a very professional reply that you guys couldn't hear.
Has fallen to the dire.
As Invoker will secure the Aegis.
Yeah, C9 is just trying to split up the map a bit, put some pressure, get into the enemy jungle, and try to go for some, maybe a pick-off even, because I think that's what they need. They don't want to fight into another 5v5 engagement, especially versus that
Dire's
Aegis,
top
as well
tower
as
is under
this
attack.
Doom now has a plate mail too, so he's pretty damn tanky, and he's
Dire's
number 2 on the net worth.
structures are fortified.
Well, they can. The one thing they have is what you mentioned, the split push, and just use Troll Ult to try and stall out a bit. But they might have overstayed their welcome here. In comes Super. Nice 4-staff away from AUI. Saw him coming with that Observer Sentry combo, I believe, and will barely make his way out. No, the Observer's out of range. I guess he just had Hero Vision.
I think he might die.
Still Doom's chasing
Doom
though.
him.
Nice
Oh.
disruption. AUI buying himself more time, but now they might have found their opening. He even purges Super, then he dodges the Impale. It's only a Shadow Demon, guys.
Oh.
Oh,
Carapace.
they might find him
and
anyway. At long last, no! He also dodges the Sunstrike.
He stopped for the Soul Catcher.
Oh, AUI. Too bad he's a support Shadow Demon.
Yeah, either way.
He does live.
Yeah, there you go. Pilot Dice still sitting in the trees up in that top lane, trying to set up for an epi, I think. Or just to cut waves, I guess. Probably both. Why not? Yeah, this is pretty grim for C9, honestly.
Well,
Said it a couple times, but Envy's getting... I mean, he had what? It was like a 12-minute Ags, and now it's a 29-minute Ags.
Oh, God.
Oh, no.
Les Monoburn is level 3. How much health is Envy going to lose from this? He takes an Impale.
Like
The
that.
Monoburn brings it down on like a quarter of his health, and it's just too easy for Vici.
Slain.
That's the thing is, like, the Troll beats the Nyx mid, but which hero has done more in the mid game? It's not
Yeah,
even
exactly.
close. I like the way they drafted the Nyx, too, because they picked up heroes that can really take advantage of Vendetta Gank. Sunstrike, Familiars that can join the fights, and that combo has been very scary for Vici.
Yeah, Vici picked pretty greedy in this game, though, and C9 just, I guess, I don't know, they just wanted to go for this strategy. I don't know. I guess,
Yeah, didn't it kind of feel like they're like, okay, we're going to try this strat?
yeah, it looks like
They
just had
decided it very early.
Yep.
They'd seen Invoker Doom, but, I mean, they picked the Silencer right away, which at that point, I guess, he's the crux of the strat.
I feel like if you're going to give up an Invoker and Doom, you have to make a trade. You don't want to just give them both of those heroes for nothing. It's pretty devastating. They have pretty high win rates overall, especially for on the side of VG. That's like their favorite heroes, like you were saying.
And I also, again, I just think RTK is much stronger on certain offlaners than others, whereas you look at some players, like, I don't know, like I'd say like Ice 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 is pretty balanced across a wider pool, and it's not as big of a deal to ban him out, but RTK in particular excels when he is a farming offlaner who can make mistakes and still be relevant later on.
That's the beauty of Devour. I mean, you're not able to get too much, but then you just go to the jungle and you're able to catch up anyway.
And it's also just true about the Dire offlane in
Yep.
general, where you're much more likely to be zoned out.
Yep.
So, well, either way, Cloud9 will have to hold the line here as Vici move forward with a pack of 5. The triple bird should be ready at this point, and I think they're
And he's
parked in the
11.
trees south.
And he's level 11 now, so those birds are gonna
don't-
kill people.
They don't actually have to commit heroes. Like, they just can siege, and there's nothing Cloud9 can do. There's no living armor to delay this. RTK, at risk, that's the one thing that worries me for Vici, is if RTK goes full RTK mode, but no, he'll just play it safe. And
I think even if he goes,
they can't lose if they siege like this.
I think even if he goes full ROTK mode, it might be okay.
He also has a plate mount now. He's getting tanky.
Yeah, he's got his Shivas if he wants to buy it now.
Yeah, it's probably too late. They'll lose their melee racks for free, and Cloud9
That's 2 Rexes.
not making trades at all. Sylar will be initiated upon. They'll pop the global now. RTK reserves his BKB and then immediately just goes in with the Doom and sing-song back to the well with him, says RTK. Then they'll bring down the Spirit Breaker, and from this point forward, it's pretty much over. Yep. And Cloud9 know it. They sound the GG. Nice epicenter by
I like their creativity. I did like the draft a lot. I think it could have worked.
It's honestly not a bad time to experiment. It is a huge tournament, but there's a lot of big tournaments the next few months. TI dwarfs all of them, and end of the day, you finish last in the group, you still start in a single limb bracket as one of 8 teams.
Yeah, I mean, you could see some of the team fights, like that first team fight near that Roche pit, went completely in their favor because all the spells were landed perfectly, and that was even before the Senking had his Blink Dagger, so just a couple. The only problem with I think the Spirit Breaker still didn't fit no matter what. Honestly, I think a different offlaner would have just excelled much better. But
I like that they're not afraid to experiment, even on a big stage.
Yeah,
so.
they don't really look like they care too much either. I mean, they're probably a little bit upset that didn't work out.
Well, if it works, then the thing is, if it works, you're not only do you win the game, but you're in such good position for future games. Because what are teams going to do? Start banning Silencer against Cloud9? Like, that's not going to happen. So. Didn't work.
I like the idea.
They have to play Newbie, who to me, and DK still. Newbie in particular, I feel, is going to be a tricky matchup for
They've
Cloud9.
been playing so strong.
They're
honestly,
like a well-oiled machine right now.
Yeah, How has been just their teamwork. Honestly, Moose Invoker he's been getting it a lot of these games, and I'm like, why do they keep giving it to him? He's landing all of the Sunstrikes every single time.
That was a solid Invoker from Sylar, but Moose was definitely next level beyond that, the way he played earlier today. So, Yanis, looking at the group standings now, if they're ready. How do you feel about the way this group's going to shake out? Vici Gaming, currently 1 and 2, so they do have a win over Cloud9, but they're done for the day. Guaranteed, I'd say well, I guess in theory there could be a 3-way tie or something, but probably finishing in the bottom slot or 2.
I think it'll be Newbie and DK. I think C9 could pull into the 3rd or 2nd slot, but it looks like as long as they don't keep experimenting like that.
Are you doubting our Lord and Savior?
I am doubting our Lord and
Sama?
Savior. I am, unfortunately.
You heard it here first. And your boy, Curtis.
Oh, I'm not doubting him.
Okay. So you're doubting.
You see him dodging those spells? Who does that? Who just throws a random soul catcher like that? I would be so mad if I was Sylar.
That was brilliant.
I would do the exact same. I'd be like, are you kidding me?
He dodged Impale.
Who does that?
He dodged so many spells. The Sunstrike, and it wasn't enough in the end, unfortunately. Well, guys, with that being said, that is going to wrap up our 3rd game of 6 on the day. We're halfway through Group A. No matter how the results end today, well, we still have all these teams starting in 2 days for the playoffs. You've been watching WPC presented by Beyond the Summit. We are changing streams now. We're going to get ready for the International 4 European qualifiers, the final day of action. Roxkiss, VP, and Mouse all duking it out for that official berth to Seattle, as well as for the final wildcard slot. With that being said, we will be moving the stream, guys, so head over, if you want to see more WPC, more Cloud9, to twitch.tv/BeyondTheSummit. As always, I'm LD, joined by Fogged. We had Mott Dota 2 handling the observing, and the one and only K-Pop Tosis. We'll see you soon.